It's Wednesday, the 30th of October, 2024. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories in 5 minutes. Let's go. Story number 1. There is a new retail supergroup with Myer teaming up with 5 apparel brands. They are Just Jeans, JJ's, Portman's, Dotti and Jackie E in a $1 billion deal.
The common factor in all that is a guy called Solomon Lew, a Melbourne-based retailer. Now, the 5 brands are part of Premier Investments, of which Lew owns 40%. Premier itself currently owns 31% of Myer. Myer will use its scrip to buy the apparel brand's business, but Premier will contribute $82 million to help fund the integration of the business. Confused? Many are. In the end, Premier Investments will end up with 51.5% of Myer. That means Solomon Lew will own about 27% of Myer and take a board seat. He's among the country's best retailers over a very, very long period of time. Pretty much a vote for the deal is a vote of confidence in Solomon Lew.
Sean, Myer was, of course, it was once an iconic brand, though its value tumbled during COVID. Why does it need to do this deal?
Well, Myer's share price has done really well over the past year, up 88%, including 25% since this deal surfaced a few weeks back. But it's got some big problems, low profit margins, poor online store. It's old. You know, we think of our parents using Myer. And it's been cutting costs and space. Big benefit. It has a massive Myer One loyalty base, 10.5 million members. Its executive chair, a woman called Olivia Worth, used to run Qantas's frequent flyer program. She knows the deal when it comes to loyalty cards. Apparel brands, well, they're pretty good at getting stuff to market fast. They've also got Solomon Lew. Perhaps part of that magic will rub off onto Myer. Certainly Premier's shareholders were happy. Its share price jumped 10% yesterday.
On to story number 2 now, Sean, another big one. Australians have lost trust in government and the health system as a result of the COVID pandemic, and the massive spending during the period is still being felt through today's inflation rate.
That's the broad findings of the first wide-ranging inquiry into the national response to the virus. Trust in government has been eroded by heavy-handed, inconsistent and unjustified restrictions, plus a lack of compassion, according to the report. It also said the Morrison government's delay in procuring vaccines cost lives. The inflation pressures that we are feeling today comes from the hundreds of millions of dollars in spending by governments, federal and state, as well as the Reserve Bank cutting interest rates too hard.
And beyond the economic impact, Sean, the report looked very closely at the ongoing social impacts.
Yeah, some tragic stories. Kids are still suffering mental health problems. There's academic consequences from school closures. Families experienced a higher level of domestic violence. There's still elective surgery backlogs in the health system. Now, the 868-page document was done by senior public servant Robin Crook, economist Angela Jackson, and infectious disease expert Catherine Bennett. Basically, they concluded that Australia did pretty well during the pandemic, but there could have been less collateral damage. After its release, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said a new Australian Centre for Disease Control will be operating by 2026.
All right, on to story number 3. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has come out fighting against the author of a book that suggests his relationship with former Qantas boss Alan Joyce was too close, saying the author previously worked for Qantas and also for the Liberal Party.
He said Joe Aston, a former Fin Review columnist, was just trying to sell a book. The claims in the book suggest Mr. Albanese rang Mr. Joyce and asked for upgrades while he was Shadow Transport Minister and then Transport Minister. The book says Mr. Albanese was upgraded 22 times by Qantas. The PM said the only discussion he recalls Mr. Joyce was the first flight from Australia to Dubai in an A380. He then went on to talk about opposition leader Peter Dutton. He said he had questions to answer over flights on Gina Rinehart's private jet. He also talked about MPs using trusts and hiding secret income. He said they should be facing questions about that. Joe Aston's definitely trying to sell a book, but this could open a Pandora's box, Michael.
Yeah, it could indeed. Story number 4, the boss of buy now, pay later group Zipco says the business is performing better than expected in the US and that interest rate cuts will help boost earnings.
Zipco is the best performing top 200 stock over the past 12 months. It was worth about 30 cents A year ago, it's now worth more than $3. CEO Cynthia Scott told the Fin Review the group had a strong September quarter with prospects in the US particularly strong. That's because US consumers are resilient, employment's high, rates are starting to fall in that country. Zip was used by about 4 million people last quarter in the US. Transactions are up by 43%. It's having a good run.
Yeah, it certainly is. Last one, story number 5, Sean. Volkswagen is considering closing 3 factories in Germany and laying off tens of thousands of workers amid a slump in sales and increased competition from China.
It would be the first factory closure in 87 years. That's its full history. It could also, or the cuts could also include reductions in pay and redundancies outside the 3 factories. This all comes from comments made by a top employee representative. What's significant about this? Volkswagen is Germany's largest employer. It includes Audi and Porsche. It's an iconic company associated with the rise of Germany post-World War II. Now, the auto industry in Germany is its biggest. It contributes about 1 trillion Aussie dollars to the economy each year. It depends a lot on exports, places like China. That's not doing so well. And as a result, VW's in trouble.
All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It is Wednesday, the 30th of October, 2024. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed, wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.